The Buccaneers have finessed the NFL. A new signing has come in just today. There was a workout and a walk around or a tour of the facility and went right into a signing. We have our GM talking about it and players just being really excited to have this veteran leadership here at on the team today. I'm Sebastian with Buccaneers Digest. Welcome everybody back. We got a really interesting signing to talk about. One that maybe not everyone saw coming. I certainly didn't. And it's really interesting to see what the veteran presence that we're bringing on here. But before we talk about that, we as a community are trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, just like Mike Evans 1K. That's our thing. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. We're pumping numbers every day, but let's make this a big surge before the season. Preseason starts. We want to do live streams and all that good stuff. So make sure to subscribe, and we'll be able to do live streams and everything. So yeah, just want to let you know about that because right now 95% still not subscribed. So still make sure to do that. Anyway, what are we talking about? Because it's some big news coming out of training camp. Ian Rappaport had to say that the Bucs are now signing QB Teddy Bridgewater to his one-year deal after he passed his physical. Sources say Kyle Trask will be backing up Baker Mayfield, but with Michael Pratt still not practicing, who was the QB3 on the depth chart, Bridgewater gives depth to a veteran presence in the QB room. So that's big. I mean, Bridgewater, talk about veteran. That was back in the 2014 draft with Mike Evans. I remember Jason Licht. He was thinking about getting a QB in that draft. He was considering Johnny Manziel. He's talked about and Bridgewater. So it's cool that everything comes full circle here. But what does this say? Because Bridgewater was just coaching high school. He wasn't even playing. So it's been a little bit since he's been starting games since 2022 actually. So a little rusty. Obviously, he's not our starter. That would be in a lot worse position if that were the case. But what people really like about Teddy is that he has so much experience in the league. He's been on like a dozen teams. And so he's the ultimate journeyman, and the Bucs are no stranger to that. We have had our experience with Ryan Fitzpatrick. We all love Fitzmagic, aka Fitztragic, or whatever you want to call him. But we've seen those journeymen on our team before and leading the squad. So this is nothing new. But we have our franchise quarterback in Baker. We have a QB2 in Trask. So it seems that this is the thing that everyone is currently wondering about is like, okay, what does this signing present as like questions wise? Is it just the Michael Pratt thing because he went down in training camp and then we're just trying to get QB3 in the building? The experience of Teddy, him coming out of retirement to join the Bucs, and leaving his high school coaching squad. That tells me that we're maybe not too sure about Kyle Trask. And this is something that a lot of Bucs fans who aren't Gator fans have been telling me, and I've been trying to, a lot of Gator fans know I'm a biased Gator fan, so it was cool to see Trask join the team and learn under Brady. But he's only gotten 11 snaps in the NFL, since that Trask being that he's only gotten 11 snaps in his entire NFL career. He's going into his 5th season right now because he signed a 1-year deal this offseason just to stay with Tampa. But that's the thing is like we had him kind of as insurance, and he's been with the same system and the team for this long, and that's helpful for sure. But at the same time, now it's like, okay, maybe they're seeing some regression. Maybe they're seeing something in Trask where it's like, okay, I don't know if this is like a sustainable professional quarterback that we can rely on if something happens to Baker. Because on Friday he wasn't able to practice. Same thing on Saturday because of a right hand contusion, Baker that is. And so there's like an injury worry there. Fortunately, it's early in the season. And Baker won't be playing much in the preseason, so they'll be trying to avoid aggravating that injury at all costs because it's on his throwing hand. So we don't want to mess with that. But we have to get some safety measures. We have to, because we've been seeing what's going on with the Tristan Wirfs situation, and we got our safety net with the receiver room for sure. We're good on that, but it's like offensive line bit concerning. So quarterback, it's like, yeah, most important position on the team. If anything happens to Baker, a lot of Bucs fans would say that our season is done. So in comes Teddy Bridgewater, a guy who is, a seasoned vet in the NFL. But most importantly, in my opinion, is he's a great leader and a great role model. That's been my takeaway on Teddy. You can see him. He was actually at practice today on Tuesday, walking around with GM Mike Greenberg, probably just touring everything. So and then he signed right after. So like I mean I really doubt he would have showed up if he wasn't planning on signing. But anyway, it's good that he's already in the building. We're getting things off to a quick start. But what did Jason Licht have to say? He said today he was a visit today with a physical. We haven't signed him yet. This is before. This was after practice, but soon after, a couple hours after, they actually did sign him. So that's already outdated. The intention is to do that. We've talked about this actually. It's been over a couple weeks. There's been discussions about it. It's a nice addition to the QB room. Good fit for Baker, experienced guy. Obviously, he's very smart, great high school coach. Good to have that wealth of experience. We've got some games to play, but right now, Kyle is our backup. That's the intention. That's what we're hoping for. But yeah, everyone's competing. That's an important tidbit, actually, because, Kyle Trask is going to be competing with Teddy for this job. And, Jason wasn't even going to, dance around that. He says that the intention is for Kyle to be the backup or QB2. He's been here the longest. He understands the system. And when we drafted him in the second round, it was with the intention of him maybe being the successor to Tom afterwards. Then we got Baker, and Baker had his resurgence. So change of plans there. But Kyle obviously has barely gotten any playing time in the regular season. So it's like we don't even really know what he's capable of. His whole career, going back to high school and college, is a storied backup who, when he got to start, rose to the occasion. And Gator fans and we always saw that as another situation here with Tampa, that eventually he would get his start after being a backup for several years. Whether that's with Tampa or not, we don't know. But Jason seems to be implying, okay, we're bringing Teddy in to compete for that QB2 spot. So maybe now it's okay, we really need to be paying attention in the preseason games of what Teddy's doing and what Trask is doing, and how much playing time they're giving to each quarterback, and what kind of plays that they're giving to them. Because, if they're trying to see the arm strength or play recognition, because there's been reports, obviously, of Kyle Trask struggling a bit in camp, throwing some interceptions. Baker's thrown his, some interceptions too. The defense has been doing really well, as reported in training camp. That we've talked about that, though. It's mostly because Josh Grizzard, the offensive coordinator, is still getting acclimated to calling plays and installing plays and everything. So he's kind of on the learning curve, and he's catching up with everything. Whereas Todd Bowles, seasoned head coach, he knows a lot of the defensive personnel, defensive coaches, defensive players, et cetera. This is all familiar ground to him, and he's not taking it easy on Grizzard just because he's a first-time offensive coordinator. He's throwing everything at him. Which is good. It just means that Grizzard, it has a lot on his plate. He's trying to deal with this Tristan Wirfs situation. He's dealing with the Godwin situation. Now he's dealing with a QB2 competition, which isn't as important as a QB1 competition. We're not the Colts, we're not the Browns. Thankfully, we have that situation all figured out. But still, there's kind of the thing in the back of everyone's mind. What if Baker gets hurt? That kind of situation happened with the Browns. And just because he's a huge competitor, he likes to go out, make plays, and at the cost of his own body, at the cost of his own health. And that might mean we might have to rely on a QB2 coming in to hold the ground for hopefully not too long. But if it has to happen, we need to get it right. And that's what this is about, is having that safety net and understanding, okay, do we want the seasoned vet coming out of retirement, or do we want the younger guy who's been with the Bucs for 5 years and but still a bit unproven and doesn't have the experience, just a lot of mental reps sitting on the sideline and holding the clipboard and everything. But that's just kind of like where the discussions are going to be from now on, is like just mostly about Trask and and also the observing Baker and everything. But the QB situation just got a lot more interesting. Is kind of where everyone's head is at. Because you don't make a signing like this if it's not with the intent of like, we're worried about our QB1, or we're worried about our QB2, because people come out of retirement to like, because they were convinced. Typically there was no reports of Bridgewater saying, I really want to come out of retirement, I'm just waiting for a team to take me. No, this kind of really came out of the blue, and it seems like it was a conversation was happening behind closed doors with Jason Licht, the GM, and everybody. So that's kind of like, we just kind of have to take the clues from what all this means. So my question is, before I get to that, I also wanted to mention some connections for Bridgewater. He has worked with Josh Grizzard in Miami, actually. Grizzard wasn't the offensive coordinator when he was in Miami, but he was still one of the coaches there, and they have a relationship. And so that's good. That's encouraging. And anyway, you always want the experience. So anyway, now I just want to take it back to you guys and ask, how do you feel about the quarterback competition for QB2, Kyle Trask or Teddy Bridgewater? Who would you feel more comfortable being in that spot? As Jason Licht said, right now it is Trask who's QB2, and we'll be seeing them battle it out in the preseason for that spot. But have we lost faith in Trask, or just do we find it an unknown commodity? And then how would you rather have Bridgewater as a QB2 because of the veteran presence? And this is a team that is loaded with talent, and it'd be better to have a veteran if it comes down to it. If Baker ever gets hurt and we need someone to step in for him. So you let me know down in the comments about that situation, and what you think about the signing in general, and what you think it means. But yeah, make sure to subscribe. 1,000 is the goal. We're heading there, and we'll be having live streams soon. Preseason is really like right around the corner, guys. So get excited, get hyped. We'll be having joint practices, all that good stuff with the Titans. So just get hyped about it, because it's really right around the corner. We'll see you then.